Okay, thank you everyone for taking out time for this webinar. In this webinar, we'll talk about Microsoft Azure backup and disaster recovery services, how they can help us solve backup and disaster recovery challenges. Before we start, I would like to introduce myself and Mismo Systems. I am the founder of Mismo Systems and also having the role of principal consultant here. We specialize in delivering services on cloud technology. We are partners with Microsoft, AWS, and GCP, Google. We are gold partner with Microsoft and select qualified with AWS. We have expertise on IT infra, which includes backup, DR, servers, data centers, and also we have a lot of expertise in migrations. So we do a lot of migrations around moving servers to the cloud, databases to the cloud. We do a lot of work around Microsoft 365, migrations of emails, servers, and all. We also have expertise on software development. So we have an in-house development team. We develop softwares on .NET. We also have expertise on platform services such as Azure Data Services, databases, data warehouse, data lake. So that's just a brief about us. Now I will move to the today's agenda, which is to talk about Azure backup and disaster recovery. Further, I request you to mute everyone. There's some background noise. And yeah, so if anyone has any question, they can unmute themselves. Thank you. Okay, so today's agenda is we'll talk about, since we are saying that what is Azure backup, what is it your disaster recovery, we'll also talk a little about Microsoft Azure, what it is, what kind of services it offers. And then we will do a deep dive into the backup and disaster recovery services. Okay, so what is Microsoft Azure? So Microsoft Azure is a cloud platform offered by Microsoft, and so it has a set of services which we can utilize. Which there are core services, which is compute. We can rent servers from there, virtual machines. So compute is essentially data center, CPU, memory, cooling, those kind of services. We also have database services, so we can run database on the VM, or we can take database as a service from Azure as well. We can have a hybrid environment setup wherein we can connect our on-prem environment with Microsoft Azure to use best of both worlds. We have analytics services, we have app development, app services, backup, which is part of today's agenda. We have disaster recovery, networking services, and storage services. So these are some of the popular services. There are hundreds of other services too, but these are some of the core services which Azure offers. And yes, so it is a hyperscale infrastructure for us to use, provided by and managed by Microsoft. Okay, so Azure has more than 50 regions. This picture is slightly old, but now they have more than 50 regions. Regions are basically where the data centers are located. In India, we have three regions. We have Pune, Mumbai, and Chennai. We call them Central India, West India, and South India, respectively. Every region has multiple data centers, which are also called availability zones. So each availability zone or data center, which is part of an availability zone, is actually connected to a separate power source also, and they are physically located little far from each other in the same region. And one region to another region, again, there is a miles of difference. So as we see that we have a region in Pune and then we have a region in Chennai. There are a lot of peering locations. So peering locations are the locations which helps us to achieve a low latency while accessing our workloads. We let's say if I am a user coming from Delhi, I will connect to a peering location in Delhi, and on the Microsoft fiber network, dark fiber, I will go to the Pune location. So this gives us better experience. There are edge sites too. So if there are any 150 plus edge sites, so if there's any data which is, so think of it as a kind of a CDN. It's not exactly the replacement of CDN, but for faster access, data is also stored at the edge sites. Okay, so let's talk a little about the two words which as we call them. So on-prem, we are calling them traditional now. So we know that cloud is the modern way of working nowadays. I tell every customer to take cloud first strategy at least, if not cloud only. Whenever we are hosting something, be it backup, DR, creating new servers, we have requirements for new application. We should always take cloud first approach, which means we need to analyze if this application can be run on the cloud. So that's the strategy which is in the best interest of the business. So when we build traditional system, we require that it also require traditional management. So you need to have a server room, or you will do co-location somewhere. Then you have to manage the hardware. You need to manage the software. With cloud model, you don't need to worry about these pieces. So you just focus on your business. You can quickly spin up new virtual machines. You can have your applications running in minutes. There are a lot of services where you don't have to even manage the servers. These are called platform as a service delivery model, wherein you just consume the services, so that you don't even have to manage the servers. So Azure SQL database is one example. Azure App Service is another example, wherein you don't have to worry about servers. You just manage your data. So this is a brief comparison between the two words. So when we go to the cloud, we say goodbye to the complexity and we focus on our applications. Okay, so why are people shifting to the cloud? What is the reason behind it? So one is obviously speed. So if I have to build an application, I have to order a server. It may take a few days to few weeks, as we know. On the cloud, I can get the services or server up and running in few minutes. So that actually saves time for us. And nowadays, companies are very dynamic, and they businesses expect us to provide servers or IT infra to them in a very short span of time. Troubleshooting is faster, so you can easily. There are a lot of tools available which are hard to afford and implement in on-prem environment. So those tools are there which can help us to do faster troubleshooting. Real-time innovation. So yeah, so we can innovate very faster. So cloud helps us to implement the concept of fail fast. So if we are trying something, we don't have to invest in it. We don't have to do a lot of capital expenditure. We can just bring up some servers or services, try our application, and we can, if it fails, we can just get away from it. We can make changes very faster. So it actually drives innovation. So that's another advantage of cloud. Flexibility. So the cloud is flexible, especially Azure. So you can connect to it using existing tools. Now we have something called Windows Admin Center, which you can actually install in the server, and you can use that Windows Admin Center to manage your both on-prem workloads as well as cloud. There are a lot of solutions. If you are looking for some third-party solutions, those are also available. There is a huge marketplace which is there, and you can consume those services very easily. Simplicity, it is very simple to use, so it gives you a lot of peace of mind. It's very easy. There are dashboards. If you need to check the utilization, you have to check the matrices, you need to set alerts. Those things are very easily doable when it comes to cloud. While if it is on-prem, you have to set up tools to do that, which increase the complexity of the environment. So these are the reasons why people are shifting to the cloud. Okay, so now we are going into why the backup and DR on-prem is not good now. Why should we look at the cloud for the backup and DR? But before we go there, there's one thing which I want to add is the cost. So when we work on the traditional model, there's a lot of capex. So we need to do a lot of investment to buy initial hardware, which can be avoided in terms of cloud, wherein you only pay per month, which we call it as a pay-as-you-go model. So you only pay for the services you consume. So it actually saves the money for the companies and business to invest that into their business instead of the IT. Second is the scalability. So cloud is flexible, cloud is scalable. So if I have an application which I know is gonna grow to, let's say, 100 terabyte, but today it is 10 terabyte, in on-prem, normally what we do is we provision that storage, we provision that compute in advance. But in cloud, we can scale up or scale down very easily. So that's another advantage. So we don't have to block our money. We can only buy stuff or we can consume services when we need it. So that's another advantage. And also, it has features like auto scaling. So in case of seasonal workloads, we can set up rules that okay, my season is from April to September. During that time, automatically I'll have 100 servers running. But for the rest of the period, I can reduce the servers to 20. That functionality or that possibility only comes through cloud. We can scale up or scale down real time also. We can set up rules. If the server utilization is above 80% or memory is high, we can scale up new servers. If the user connections are more, we can scale up and scale down. So that is also another important benefit of the cloud over on-prem and or the traditional as we call it. Okay, so when we talk about backup and DR, so we used to do it on-prem. So as we see in this graph, the backup and DR, if we have to increase the retention and RPO. So retention and RPO are two core units when we implement unit of measurement for the performance of the services when we talk about backup and DR. So retention is how long you want to retain data, and RPO is recovery point objective. So recovery point objective is how much data loss a company can afford. So if I can afford a data loss of maximum 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I have an RPO of 15 minutes. So I need to make sure that my services are up and running by maximum data loss of 15 minutes. So if we see, as we increase retention and RPO, our cost and complexity increases a lot in the traditional model, because then we need to have real-time replication softwares. We need to have a very reliable and powerful bandwidth internet link between the primary site and the DR site. We need to have probably hot DR, as we used to call it, servers up and running all the time so that the switchover is faster. So traditional enterprise protection becomes very, very costly, and complexity increases a lot if we try to increase the retention in RPO. However, if we use Azure to protect our data for the backup and DR, if, as you see, the cost and complexity has decreased while retention and RPO has increased. Why? Because the services are designed in such a way. The automation is in place, orchestration is in place. We have these are hyperscale infrastructures, like as we have seen, we get advantage from economies of scale. There are petabytes, terabytes of data which is there, which can be consumed. So data can be retained for a very, very long time. We have someone in lobby. Can someone admit, please? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so that's what we get when it comes to using Azure for backup and DR. We can have very long-term retention. For example, Azure backup, it supports 99 years of retention. So you can retain your data for 99 years. There are some business regulations, data regulations of every country. In financial sector, we have to retain data for 10 years at least. So it can be very easily done when it comes to Azure without increasing the cost. RPO is also very, very low. So low RPO is better. Lowest as the RPO gets reduced, cost and complexity increases. While when we talk about cloud, we can reduce the RPO without increasing the cost and complexity. So Azure offers real-time replication. So when it comes to Hyper-V or VMware or any physical servers or application you have on-prem, you can actually replicate those servers real-time to the cloud. We have seen the RPOs of 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, which are very difficult to achieve when it comes to on-prem environment. So yeah, so that's why these services are so popular. We'll deep dive into them now. Okay, so as I said, the cloud first is the buzzword, and it is actually working. It is successful strategy. So similarly, as I mentioned before about, I say doing anything on the IT infra, we should take cloud first approach. since we are talking about backup and DR, if you have those requirements in your organization, you should think about cloud first backup and cloud first DR and see if it suits your business needs, and then only think about on-prem environments. Okay, so we'll start with Azure Backup, and then we'll deep dive. We'll see the architecture, we'll see the benefits, we'll see what it supports, what kind of workloads you can back up, some technical details, and then we will go to the DR, which is called Azure Site Recovery. Okay, so Azure Backup, as you see on the screen, you can back up almost everything. Okay, so this is where you see on-premises apps and data you can back up. So there are two options to achieve this. One is to use native Azure Backup. So you have a new greenfield deployment, for example, wherein you don't have any current backups or servers running, backup softwares running in your environment, or those backup softwares or servers are not performing, they're out of date, their renewal is coming. You can actually use native Azure Backup. So what it does is basically you can install an Azure Backup server in your environment, which is just like any other backup server, and it has the capability to do backup of VM level, backup of application level. For example, you can back up Hyper-V VMs, VMware VMs, SQL servers, SharePoint servers, Exchange servers, or then there's a long list which is supported now, and you can back up them. And also it supports item level restore, which is a very popular requirement among IT administrators and IT organizations, that when they restore something, they should be able to do the item level restore. So with the Azure native backup, you don't have any backup solution. You will see that you have your virtual machines or physical servers running. We set up an Azure backup server in your environment. All the data from these servers or application comes to the Azure backup server. So you have a copy of data locally as well for faster restore. And then we can set up policies that once in a day, twice in a day, the copy of the server backup is also gets replicated to the cloud, Azure cloud. So what it gives me, it also gives me an off-site backup capabilities, which is also a compliance requirement with most of the organization. So what I'm doing with Azure Backup Server, I'm using the power of Azure Cloud, while I'm also able to retain a copy of the backup data locally for faster restore and for compliance purpose. And I'm sending one copy of the data to the cloud, which is for the offsite backup and long-term retention. Like we said, that retention should not increase complexity. If I have to retain 10 years of data here on-prem today, I'll be buying more and more servers, more and more storage. So the complexity increases, cost increases, right? While what I can do is I can store the latest backups here on-prem, and the older backups I can shift to the cloud. So, the slide which we saw before is this, you can correlate here. So the cloud can be used to store the long-term retention and the apps restores which we talked about. Second option is a lot of customers say that we have already invested in the backup server. Some are using Commvault, some are using Veritas, some are using Veeam. So we have already invested in it. Why should we replace it? So we are saying, no, you don't have to replace it. But you can use Azure Cloud to use the power of the cloud and club it with your backup server, backup software. All software, almost all of them nowadays offer a connector to the Azure cloud. So you can use the same backup software to keep backing up your applications and VM. But for the offsite, you don't have to use tapes. Instead of using tapes and then manually shifting those tapes or external hard drives, you can just set up a connector which will send data to the Azure cloud, Azure storage. So again, offsite is achieved very easily, and this also obviously will give you app level restore. So that's one very nice depiction of how the backup can help you. Okay, so here we are going a little further how it actually works. So we saw the backup server. So backup server will also have the backup agent. So backup agents gets installed on the machines or file servers. It supports various types of backup. You can take bare metal backup. We talked about databases backup, VM level backup, file folder backup. So for that, we install agents. So we need to have agents on the server like any other backup software. Then the core is Azure Backup Service, which is running in the cloud. In the cloud, in the Azure Backup Service, we have an object called Vault, Data Vault. In the backup vault, what we do, we perform all these actions. So everything is being done here. Storage management is done automatically for you. Recovery point management is done. So if you use this functionality, I can back up the data to the cloud a maximum of 3 times in a day. So when you back up, it creates the recovery points. So first time is a full backup, and then it is incremental always. So recovery points. So when you restore, you see a nice calendar, and you can choose that. Okay, I want to restore the backup of 18th March which was taken at 12 p.m. So I can do that, or the morning backup or evening backup. So all these things are being done here in the Azure Backup Service for you. Data tiering, you don't have to do anything; it is all managed automatically. This data is all. The service is highly available, resilient, and availability. So it's a financially backed SLA. So you don't have to worry about your backup infra going down. So this is always also a problem with the traditional backup solution. So backup is to protect the data, but sometimes our backup servers, backup infra goes down, and then we try to fix it. However, in this, you are using a service which is always up and running because it is highly available and backed by an SLA. When we talk about security, so and monitoring, so you can set up alerts for backup failures. You can monitor, you can have reports, how much backup is happening, daily churn rates, how much data is stored so far now. You can configure policies for backup. You can configure daily backups, weekly backups, yearly backups, different retentions. There are multi-factor authentication. So if somebody tries to restore, you can configure that the IT manager will get a PIN, or if somebody tries to remove the backup from the cloud, that can be protected with a second factor of authentication. You can configure rollback access control. You can give somebody access to take backup, another person permissions to take do restores. So all those things are already there in the Azure Backup Service, so which is there in an enterprise backup software. And the most important thing which I really like is the multi-factor auth. So if you try to delete something, let's say your server is compromised and the malware or the this virus tries to delete your backup so that you are not able to restore the backup also, that can't be done because your backup is protected. You will get a PIN or an OTP on your phone that something is trying to modify the backup which is stored in the cloud. So you get a centralized management and overall protection. Okay, so going a little bit more further. So as I said that it is a compelling alternative to the tapes. So we all used to have tape drives for the long-term retention as well as offsite backup. So we can now switch to the cloud and remove the complexity of tape handling, reliability issues, and the cost. So we can replace, which we used to call D to D to D, or D to D to T, which is disk to tape backup, and we can shift to D to C, which is disk to cloud backup. So you have a local backup in your data center, which can do a faster restore, and a second copy goes to Azure Cloud. In fact, actually, for some server and smaller organization, you can also send the primary backup copy to cloud also. So you have both the options. So it's flexible. It is very secure and reliable. As we just talked about, your data is protected. Nobody can alter it. Ransomware can't encrypt it. You have multiple times backup. It's a very secure and reliable service, and it's very efficient and flexible. So you can install agent in few minutes. You can do item level restores, and there are two options. Again, we saw in the previous slide. We are seeing here also. So you can use native Azure backup, or you can also integrate the software with the third-party backup server which you already have. So you don't have to rip apart your investments which you have already done. Okay, so when we talk about cloud first backup, so as I said that you can also backup directly to the cloud. So there are agents which can be installed into your servers directly, and it can actually back up your data directly to the cloud if you do have that option. So you don't have to even set up as your backup server. It has limited functionality, so it cannot back up VM level. It cannot do bare metal, but it can do file folder backup because let's say if we have to back up our file server, we have to back up our database files. We can do that very easily with directly cloud backup, and it is very fast to backup, very fast to restore. Compression is built in, so all your data is compressed by about 30%. RPO gets reduced, so you now have three times you can take a backup, so your RPO is reduced. With Azure Backup Server, you can even take few minutes log backup of your databases, and it's pay as you go. So you don't have to provision the storage for 99 years or 10 years or 20 years. You can simply keep paying for as your data increases, and so one use case is we all have branch offices, right, in the big organization. So backup is always a challenge to protect the servers in branch offices. So normally we have DCs there, we have some file servers there, maybe one or two backup business application running. It becomes very difficult to back up that to the central location. It actually hogs the bandwidth, or you set up a backup environment there. So that's another scenario for cloud first backup. So on your branches, you can simply install Azure Backup Service, and it will back up directly to the cloud. You don't have to set up any other server. Okay, so what are the features? So here is a summary. You can back up even workloads like SAP HANA. We talked about many workloads. VM backup is already there. Obviously, all Microsoft workloads are supported. It's an application level backup, so it uses VSS snapshot. So it's application consistent backup. Even you can back up Linux machines. It has the backup storage is secure, as I talked about the multi-factor authentication. So if somebody or some bad actor or malware tries to alter the backup storage, they can't do it. We have a multi-factor authentication. And the backup management is very easy from the portal. You have reports, you can see what is happening, when was my last backup, and you can very easily do test restores too. Some more details of what you can back up. So you can also, so we are talking about Azure backup to back up your on-prem environment. What if you already are running in Azure VM? So that also you can back up using Azure backup. So same software is used to protect both on-prem and the cloud machines. You can back up SQL Server, SAP HANA databases, everything. So one single solution, which you don't have to work on two different technologies to back up your on-prem and backup what is hosted on Azure. Both the things are available in the same software. Why would you use Azure Backup? We already talked about many benefits. So in this summary, so we can offload on-premises backup. So as I said that you can either extend your on-premises backup for long-term retention, or you can replace them if they're not working or out of date. You can back up Azure VMs if you're running in cloud. You can scale very easily. So you can pay-as-you-go model. As your storage increases or number of server increases, you can just simply add agents. There is unlimited data transfer. So that's an interesting point. So a lot of backup software, when you back up to the cloud, there are hidden costs when you restore. They say that when you restore, there are going to be different costs. You have to pay for the data transfer. You have to pay for the amount of data you restore. But in this, everything is built in. You don't pay anything extra. You can restore as many times you want without paying anything extra. So that's another USP of Azure Backup. There are multiple storage options, so we call them LRS, GRS, and ZRS. So this actually depends upon how much protection you want. By default, when we store data in the cloud, it is stored as an LRS, which is called locally redundant storage. So any data, be it backup, when you store in the cloud, there are 3 copies of the backup in the same data center in 3 different racks, 3 different storage. However, if you need more protection, you can actually replicate a copy of the backup to another region. So you can take primary backup in Pune, and a copy of that backup can be replicated to Chennai. Or we talked about zones, which are the data center in the same region. You can do that as well. So there are multiple storage options based on the criticality of data. If it is really sensitive, very important data, we can actually keep it across 2 regions. Storage management is automatic, so you don't have to keep worrying about storage again and again, increasing storage, adding LUNs to the backup softwares, ordering enclosures. You don't have to do anything like that. Everything is managed by in the backend. Storage, you don't have to do anything with the storage. You can retain short-term or long-term data. So if there is something which you want to retain for short-term, you can do that. We just mentioned that long-term you can go up to 99 years actually. App consistent backup. So it is not that it is fully supported. It will take use VSS to backup and the application which you can just simply restore, be it SQL or any other application which you're using. Your data is secure. So we have the multi-factor authentication, which is very common query and requirement when people are evaluating backup. That what if ransomware encrypts my backup? So that's not possible here. Some more advantages. Why should you trust it? So Microsoft is really investing a lot of money when it comes to cloud security and backup. There are dedicated resources, more than 3,000 resources just working on security. And when it comes to compliance, obviously, even if you are not running your workloads on the cloud and you are taking your backups to the cloud, there's one question: what about compliance? So some people are running applications which require to be PCI compliant. If you are a health service provider, you might require HIPAA compliance. Then there are many others, we know them. So Azure has more certification than any other providers. PCI, HIPAA, ISO, SOC Type 1, Type 2. It has more than 70, 80 certifications, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so there are so many advantages, so that's why we are talking about them again and again. So you can scale very easily. So as I said that if you want to start, you can start very small. You can back up a few files. In fact, you can back up your laptop also using Azure Backup. We have people who are protecting finance department machines or some critical systems using Azure Backup, not only servers. So you can start as small as like 50 GB, 10 GB, 20 GB. You can start like that, and then you can scale to backup. Like even SAP HANA or that kind of workload. Virtualization is supported. Everything is supported. It's very efficient. You don't have to worry about the storage. It also supports item level restore, as I mentioned. So basically, if you are restoring something, it actually mounts the cloud recovery point for you in your server. You can see what is there in the backup, compare with the actual data, and only restore the files you need. So it is very, very efficient. It is very fast. So first time it takes full backup, and after that it is always incremental. So it actually it works on block level changes on the disk. So once the full backup is completed, only the changes will be transferred, and that too is compressed by 30 to 40%, and it is very, very fast. It is very compliant. So all the data which is going to the cloud, we talked about PIN, we talked about compliance. Now, one more thing is the data which is going into the cloud is transferred over an encrypted channel. So all the data is safe. Transmission is encrypted. When the data is stored in the Azure cloud, that is also encrypted. So your data is encrypted both in transit and as well as when it is sitting in the cloud. You can have Power BI reporting against your backup. So if you have a huge backup, you need reports for the compliance, you can integrate Power BI with Azure Backup and get a detailed reporting. Okay, so that was about backup. I'll pause for a minute or so if there are any questions about backup. Otherwise, we will start with the Azure DRAS, which is Disaster Recovery as a Service. Okay, it seems we are good. There are no questions. If you have any questions, you can also ask later after the presentation, or you can also send it to us. Okay, yes, Parinder. Sorry, I can't hear you. Sorry, Parinder, I can't hear you. Sorry. Okay, so we have questions from Suresh and Dharmdat Sharma. Recording, yeah, obviously we'll share it with you after the session. We can share the recording with you. Yeah, I hope you can hear me now. Suresh is saying you can't hear me now. Okay, so cost we'll share with you, Mr. Dharmdat Sharma, for 1 terabyte. We will get in touch with you. If you can, I hope you will already have, but if you can share your email address also in the chat. Suresh, yeah, so we'll share with you a recording to you as well. So, anything else we have? Thank you, Mr. Dharmdat. Okay, I will go ahead with the DR now. Okay, so we talked about backup. So backup is all about backing up your data, so which allows you to go back in time. But when we talk about DR, is basically to restore faster. Backup, if I'm taking, is actually serving me the purpose of going back in time if something goes wrong, if I need something after which is 5 years back, 2 years back, a day back, I can do that. But disaster recovery is basically, what if I want to recover very fast? I want my services to be up and running in minutes. I want my data to be available within 15 minutes. No more than 15 minute data loss should be there. We talked about RPO. So when this kind of requirement comes, backup cannot solve the purpose. So we then use the disaster recovery as a solution. So on this slide, we'll see what are the different reason, which is a study which was done by Forrester of disasters happening. So we divide them into different categories. So there are operations failures. So most of the disaster happens because of operation failures. Again, power outage is the biggest factor here. If you are running your own data center, there can be supplier power outage or something wrong with your systems. IT hardware failure is another big factor. Your hardware is failed, your HA doesn't work, or you does not have an HA. That can cause the applications to stop working. What if it is an ERP? Your production might stop. If it is in billing application, your invoicing will stop. If it is a customer facing application, your reputation might go down. So all those things can happen. So these are the things which can cause disasters. The major one again are power failure and IT hardware failure. Another thing which is interesting here is the human caused events. So again, we are human, right? We do make mistakes. So there are some disasters which are caused by human. If we upgraded some patch, or if we try to make some changes and it has caused systems to go down. So these are the reasons of IT disasters to happen. What were the challenges of doing DR? It is a small word to when we speak DR. It's a small word, but implementation is very complex. In the traditional world, if I have to do DR, I need a lot of investment, a lot of money. I need a right skill set, or I will outsource it. I need to have another data center. I need to pay for the internet connectivity, for the connectivity between primary site and the secondary site. Recovery times are huge. There is a loss of data. you cannot test it. Testing is painful. Everybody has implemented DR. I doubt if very few people actually get to test it because it is complex to test it. They are afraid if they test it, something might go wrong. Their production might go down. They don't get downtime from the business. So those are the all challenges with the traditional DR. How do you overcome those challenges? What if you don't have to manage the secondary data center? What if you don't need a P2P link? What if your RPO is very low? RTO is another parameter which we can talk about is recovery time objective. Your RPO is low because your workload is continuously replicating as the changes are happening on your application. Immediately they are going to the cloud. So you can recover very fast. RTO is recovery time objective that how soon you can bring up the services. Your data is protected, that's fine. But I want my services to be up within 15 minutes. How can you do that? So you can achieve that using Azure Disaster Recovery Services, which is called Azure Site Recovery. So you can have a class leading RPO and RTOs. You can do no impact failover testing. So you have a DR, but you never test it. We give you a functionality wherein you can test your DR environment without having any impact on the production. So you just test, it will bring up your server in an isolated environment, test everything, so you are confident. And also you can do a full DR drill. So we provide managed DR and backup services wherein we own the DR drills for you. We help you to do DR drill. So that's part of the services which Mismo system has to offer. But still it is so simple, even you can perform it yourself. Okay, so when we talk about a little bit more about Azure Site Recovery, which is the product offered by Microsoft Azure to do DR as a service. So it's a software as a service-based disaster recovery. You don't have to manage the DR servers, DR softwares. So it has a automated replications. You set it up, it will replicate automatically. You can set up policy. Uh, One-click orchestrated recovery. So that's why RTO is low. So I can configure everything once. I have an app server, I have a DB server, I have a domain controller. I'll click only once. All three servers will come up in the cloud, and you can test your DR or act in case of actual DR also. You can fail over with one click within minutes. It seamlessly integrates with other services in the Azure. So if you are using other services in Azure, it can seamlessly integrate. Health monitoring, so you have alerts. If your DRS replication is not working, you will get alerts. You have the dashboards wherein you can see your RPO and RTOs. You can have multiple recovery points, application consistent snapshots. So it takes snapshots. So you can say that, okay, I want to retain last 24 snapshots. In case of backup, we were creating recovery points, but in case of DR, we are continuously replicating. What if there is a logical corruption on the source? What if there is a ransomware attack? That will also get replicated because it is a continuous replication and it's a disk level replication. Doesn't matter what is there in your disk, which software you're using, doesn't matter. We use disk based replication. So what we do in this case, we create recovery points. So we create recovery snapshots. So every half an hour we create a snapshot, we store it. Then another half an hour we create a snapshot, we restore it. So if there is no logical corruption, you can actually restore just in time, maybe 5 minutes back, 2 minutes back, depends upon the your internet bandwidth. But yeah, if something goes wrong, you can actually go back to the previous snapshot also. So those are the functionality which Azure Site Recovery supports. Deployment is very simple. You can quickly deploy it. If you have Hyper-V, you can deploy it very quickly. You don't need anything else. If you have VMware, we set up a small appliance-based server on your environment, and it can get going in couple of days. So you don't need weeks and months to set up your DR. It is very fast. Encryption happens over internet, so you don't need a VPN connection or any dedicated connection. All the data which is again getting transferred is encrypted, and which is getting stored is encrypted. And the another beautiful thing is when you implement this technology, you don't need servers to be running in the cloud. You only have the replication software. You only pay for the replication software, and you only pay for the storage. You don't pay for the servers because they are not running. You will pay for the servers only when you will use them. When will you use them? When actually DR happens or when you are doing testing. So let's say there are 3 servers. Each server is 100 rupees per hour. You test it for 1 hour. So you only pay for 3 hours and then you destroy the server. While your DR keeps working, your RPO is intact. And when you actually use it, when DR happens, then you run it for 2 weeks, you pay for 2 weeks. When you are done, you can switch back to your on-prem and you stop paying for the service. It's very simple and efficient to use. It's an enterprise grade protection, so you can set up your thresholds, RPO, RTO. We have talked about them right now. There are snapshots, as I said, that you can set up snapshots, application consistent snapshots. You can protect multiple VMs. You can set up policy to start servers in an order. You can configure recovery groups. It's very feature rich protection. This is my favorite one. We call it as a no impact test failover. I briefly spoke about. So you can test without impact. How do you do that? It actually creates your server in an isolated network, in an isolated environment, wherein you can verify your data, your application stream can be confirmed before they do the actual failover or actual DR drill. If they are not comfortable doing actual DR drill, maybe they want to do it once in a year. This you can do every month. You can do it yourself. Within an hour, you are done. You can prepare the environment. Your servers are up in 15 minutes. You do the testing and then you log off. And you only pay for the servers when you are doing the testing. Supported application. So this is just a list and it keeps on updating. If you have anything specific in your environment, you can share with us. But yeah, it supports obviously all Microsoft workloads. It supports IIS, SQL, SharePoint, SAP. As a Mismo Systems, we are actually right now have DR as a service implemented for various ERPs. We are running it for SAP on Oracle. We are running it for business application with SQL. We are running it for Navision with SQL, file servers, domain controllers, and we do test drills. We do actual DR drill actually. Failover, real failover, user work there, and then real failback. So we are able to do all that stuff. So there's a huge support when it comes to protecting the workloads. Here on the screen, you see a Hyper-V and VMware. If you have any physical servers, those also can be protected. There is a slight limitation that we cannot fail it back to the physical server. But yeah, we can protect the physical server to the cloud. We can do a recovery in the cloud. If you have to fail back, we need to just have a VMware prepared on the local environment, and then we can fail it back. So yeah, it has a huge list of applications and environments it can support. Okay, so a little bit more technical details. So how it works is basically you have the site recovery service running on the VMware servers or physical servers or Hyper-V, and from there we actually replicate it to the cloud. So there is a data channel which is there, and in Azure we have a recovery service which is again just like backup. It's a service, so you don't have to manage anything. You don't have to worry about storage. You don't have to worry about security. It is always working, and your data gets stored there in a vault, which you can orchestrate and do the test recovery and test drills very fast. So in case of both VMware and Hyper-V, concept is almost similar. In case of Hyper-V, because Hyper-V has inbuilt capabilities, we can use that. If you are an enterprise, if you are using System Center, we can use System Center Virtual Machine Manager to protect your VMs. If you are using VMware, we install a small server in your environment, which we call it as a process server or config server. We install mobility agents on your machines, and then you're done, and everything gets replicated, and you can store it into the cloud. And all customer data is separate in the cloud. It is stored into the separate networks, completely isolated and secure. Okay, so why we use DR from Azure? So we have talked about many benefits already. Cost is reduced, complexity is reduced, RPO is improved, RTO is improved. You don't have to pay for capex. So there are many benefits, right? And it's very cost efficient. You can start at a very little cost. You have full control. Yeah, but there are some listed on this slide as well. So you have a single provider. So you have a trusted provider. You are using Microsoft workloads. Who can protect Microsoft workloads better than Microsoft? But we have used it, and it is certified to use it for SAP and any other ERP software you might have. Simplicity, it's heterogeneous environment it can support. So if you have Hyper-V, Windows, Linux, we support everything. There is a, because it's a disk level replication, so it doesn't matter what you're running on your virtual machines. Everything is supported. It's hybrid. So that's the one basics which Microsoft is working on. So we are not saying move completely to the cloud. We fully support and support hybrid environment. So you keep your environment locally if you want to, but you can protect it to the cloud using site recovery. You can run some servers in cloud, some locally. Everything is supported. And there are a lot of solutions available through which you can integrate with ASR to improve your DR services. There are a lot of some other benefits which are listed here. Most of them I have talked about already. Data encryption is one popular thing. So people worry about what happens to the data. So your data is secure while in transit. It's encrypted and while it is stored. We talked about no impact DR testing, which is another very important feature. So SLA we are saying, so there is a guaranteed 99.9% availability for your DR. Your workloads are protected, but now your DR is also SLA driven, it's protected. So you have a peace of mind that your DR is always there. Okay, so that was about DR. We are coming to the end. I think we just completed in time. So this is the path which we generally work with the customers. So we have done this workshop wherein we have shown you or given you an overview of Azure Backup and DR. If you think this is something of interest to you, you want to evaluate it, we can work with you to do the planning, prepare a business case for you, tell you what is the ROI if you go and invest in this kind of solution. We can do a POC for you, and then we can set it up for you. And yes, we can manage it for you. So we are there with you throughout the journey. Again, two great services which can really improve your backup and DR capabilities. So that is it from me, guys, for today. Thank you so much for attending it. Again, I'll pause for a minute. If there are any questions, I will also look at the chat box. Okay, I don't see any question in the chat box. We can wait for a minute or so. I can see Suresh is typing something. Okay, I think we are good now. So people are leaving, but still, I want to thank you, everyone, for taking out time for this meeting. I hope you find this useful. Yes, Suresh, we'll send you the presentation. Thank you so much for your time, Suresh, and everybody on the call. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.